If you've been to Disneyland before, you probably have heard of a tiny little ride called Pirates of the Caribbean. Opened in the year 1967, Pirates of the Caribbean took guests into the world of swashbuckling pirates and plundering pillages, while also pushing the boundaries of both creativity and imagination. Almost 60 years later, the original Pirates has led to the creation of 4 additional Pirates of the Caribbean attractions around the world, with some looking kinda similar to others, while at the same time blowing guests out of the water. Literally. So, to celebrate the beauty of Disney Imagineering, and also to pass the time during this unfortunate pandemic, let's take a look at the top 5 best Pirates of the Caribbean rides around the world. Let's start off with number 5, Pirates of the Caribbean at the Magic Kingdom Park in Florida. I really like what the Imagineers did here with this version of the ride. Like, the huge fort queue and the exits are so much more detailed and immersive compared to Disneyland. Having a large, expansive queue really gives the ride a sense of realism and believability. But I can't exactly say the same about the ride portion. The Pirates at the Magic Kingdom feels like a very compressed down version of Disneyland's Pirates. There's not a lot of time to build atmosphere on the ride, some parts of the ride feel very rushed, and let's not forget about that overly bright flash they use on the ride, which I swear was designed to make people blind. However, I still think this ride is still really good because it captures the feeling of the original Pirates really well, and is also very fun. But compared to the other versions, to me, it just falls a little more on the bland side. Moving on to number 4 is the Pirates of the Caribbean Battle for the Sunken Treasure at Shanghai Disneyland. This ride is by far one of the most impressive things I have ever laid my eyes on. Yeah, my jaw dropped like 4 times on this ride. It is absolutely insane. Words cannot describe how amazing some of these effects are, like the Jack Sparrow Pepper's ghost effect, and the crazy realistic animatronics, and not to mention the massive screens. It is absolutely crazy. Now for me, I don't consider this ride a ride, I consider it a literal experience. It's something you need to go and see for yourself in person. Now I'm pretty sure some of you are wondering why I'm praising this ride so much, even though I rated it second to last, or 4th out of 5th place. And, well, the answer to that is kinda straightforward. The Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Shanghai Disneyland on its own is a great attraction, really great, I love it. It's flashy, it's gigantic, and above all, it's a technological marvel. But the thing is, when you compare it to the other pirate rides around the world, the ones that mainly focus on storytelling and immersion, the Shanghai version falls vastly short. Things like screen resetting, poor lighting, and the mediocre blend between screens and practical sets makes the ride feel like it has a lack of polish. Now these things don't really take you out of the ride, but because of all these little issues and errors everywhere, it makes the ride feel very shallow. In the end, Shanghai's Pirates of the Caribbean is amazing and downright jaw-dropping at times, but overall it really doesn't capture the spirit and the energy that makes a Disney ride, especially a Pirates Disney ride, a Disney ride. Next up on our list is number 3, Pirates of the Caribbean at Tokyo Disneyland. Now Tokyo Disneyland's Pirates, it's very interesting, very interesting. It's not like the other pirate rides around the world where they each have their own unique style and theme to it. No, but instead it takes Disneyland's Pirates and improves on it. Kind of. You know how the queue in Disneyland's Pirates is mostly outside and is honestly kind of ugly? Well, in Tokyo, they took that idea of having the queue go from New Orleans to the Bayou, but instead of copying it, they expanded on it. Instead of having the queue mostly on the outside in the quad, they pushed the entire line indoors and expanded on the New Orleans style theming, which previously wasn't possible in Disneyland's version, due to space limitations. Not only that, but they also did a couple other improvements here and there, like adding more scenery in the swamp, massively improving the lighting throughout the ride, and so many more little things that it's very hard to cover all in one video. On paper, this ride feels like a perfect upgrade to Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean, but in person, that's a little bit of a different story. You see, since Tokyo copies so much from Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean, it honestly doesn't feel unique. It doesn't have its own spirit, it just feels like a copy that's done better, in a way. On top of that, bigger scenes like the caves in Disneyland's Pirates were shrunk down in Tokyo's version in order to save space. And honestly, because of that, it just doesn't have the same feeling when compared to the original. But regardless of that jazz, I still really do like the ride. It's a massive upgrade to the original Pirates, while also still being a very fun ride to ride. But if this ride had more unique things going for it instead of being a direct copy of Disneyland, I could easily see Tokyo Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean being one of the best out there. Moving on to number 2 is Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland Paris. Pirates at Disneyland Paris is just your average Pirates of the Caribbean ride. If everything was done differently. There's no way for me to go over all the differences in this ride without making this video like an hour long, so I'll just cover the ones that stood out to me the most. Let's start off with the waterfall. You know how in the original Disneyland, some of the Imagineers didn't like the idea of having the boats go up a, weird waterfall? Well, in Paris, you're not magically going up the waterfall in the end. You are actually being slowly yanked up a hill by a giant chain and a spinning wheel all the way to the top, which is the most coolest thing ever. Also, did you ever want to get closer to the burning town at the end of the ride? Well, in Disneyland Paris, you not only get to get closer, but you go straight through a burning fort that's being destroyed. And then there's pirates swinging around everywhere. And then another area, there's pirates literally sword fighting each other. And then there's another scene where you straight up go down a hill and then everything explodes and it's just, my god, it's so cool. I need to go on this ride again. I think this ride is absolutely spectacular. I love it so much. The creativity and the theming is literally something else. It is insane. Now, the only quote-unquote bad thing about this ride for me is the maintenance. Now, usually I don't really care too much about maintenance because usually when something breaks at Disney, it's fixed within, a day or a week, sometimes, 2 weeks. This usually applies to everywhere outside of Disneyland Paris. You see, in Disneyland Paris, when something breaks, it usually doesn't get fixed. it just stays broken consistently. So there's always broken animatronics, broken lighting, and sometimes even broken sound, and then they just remain broken. I've been to Disneyland Paris literally 3 times already, and I can tell you multiple times over that every time I go, there's always at least 7 to 8 things that are always just permanently broken. If they could fix this problem, I would love this ride so much more, and I could also call this ride one of the best rides out there easily. Finally, let's move on to number 1, which you might have guessed at this point now is Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland in California. This ride is an absolute classic, and it's been around for the longest time, but I can guarantee you, the fact that it's old and the fact that it's in Disneyland, California is not the reason why I am putting it at number 1. Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland has this residual energy to it, which makes you want to ride the ride over and over and over again. The sheer size and length of the ride makes it so much more immersive and fun to ride. Like every time I go on Disneyland's Pirates, I get so lost in the theming that I usually forget I'm even inside of Disneyland. Like every time, like every time the boat starts climbing up the waterfall at the end, I'm literally like, oh my god, that's right, we're in Disneyland. With that being said though, the ride isn't perfect. The queue, especially on the outside, is a little underwhelming, and the boats always being backed up at the end of the ride, even on less crowded days, kind of bugs me. But overall, this ride is a solid attraction. As Walt Disney said himself, Disneyland will never be completed, as long as there's imagination left in the world. This goes for all of the Pirates of the Caribbean rides around the world, from the past, the present, and the future. Let's hope that Disney Imagineers of today can keep that promise and make a Pirates of the Caribbean ride that we all can enjoy. Alright then, with that, welcome to the end of the video, to the 2 of you who are probably watching right now. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. I really do appreciate it. Watching the entire video really does mean a lot to me. I put a lot of effort into these videos, and the fact that you watch it all the way through makes me feel very happy inside. Now, I really want to hear your thoughts on what you think the best Pirates of the Caribbean ride in the world is. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? All that jazz. I don't know what to say. Put it in the comment section down below. I'll respond to it. We can talk, have a discussion. It'll be really interesting, really fun. Now, all the stuff I said in this video is just my opinion. Just because it's my opinion doesn't mean it has to be your opinion. That being said, I did have to cut a little bit out of this video because of the time restraints. I don't want it to be over 10 minutes. I mean, it's already over 10 minutes, but whatever, it's fine. And depending on how I feel, in some cases, I do believe that Disneyland Paris's Pirates is a little bit better than Disneyland's Pirates, but, you know, it just depends. Today, I felt like Disneyland's Pirates was better. But other than that, what I said here is what I think. Everything is correct. Anyways, thank you so much for watching again. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you all probably on the next video. See ya.